Welcome, welcome. Viewing several. Right, so I wanted to do another little update on my sort of little shelfy, testy kind of piece of track that I wanted to do. Now, the point of this really, no pun intended, is to have these pair of Pico Unifrog Y points here. I'm just going to, I got me Guinness. And this is a board, if you remember from episode 1, I cut this in half. I had like a little Christmas loop layout, and I wanted to just do kind of a track that I can run things up and down, but I also wanted to wire up some Unifrog points with live frogs that are switchable. Just as an experiment to see what they're like, so we can do some shunting. Now, obviously, at the moment, I haven't got it wired up yet, but this is really just to show the track plan. And if you remember from the first one, I've got another one of these exactly the same size, which can go on this end. Well, I could go on that end. I think I'm going to be looking at putting on this end. And I've got some things where I clip together my fiddle yard boards with my kind of micro layouts. So I bought a big pack of those, so I can do that, no problem. So there's enough space in these sidings for a few wagons, and if I stick the main purpose of it is really to just play around with these points and wire them up and see how well they run before I decide whether I'm going to use them, whether it's worthwhile having Unifrog points on a bigger layout when I build a bigger layout, or even on my shelf layout that I've got. So what I thought I'd do is I thought I would just do this. Now, I've used a ballast mat here. This is going to be cut a bit, and it's going to be I'll have to drip the PVA on it to stop it shedding the bits of grit. And there's a bit at the end I need to add a bit at the end as well. But I thought for this test track, I don't really want to be ballasting this with normal ballast. And because I'm doing even if I was going to do that, where these points are, I don't want ballast and glue anywhere near those. So what I normally do, I say normally, I did once, was I cut this ballast mat and I put it under the points, and then I ballast the rest of the track. But I thought, well, for this one, I might as well just use this ballast mat roll. So that's what I'm doing for here. For this, I think this side, it's the same. I think it's about 2 mil, so I could put some cork on there. Might not bother. I'm probably going to trim this once the track's laid. I'm going to seal it, then I'm going to lay the track, pin it down, and then I'm going to trim it, and then I'll decide. I might do nothing with this, or I might just put I might paint it with some acrylic, really cheap acrylic, and then just put some glue down and some really cheap scatter, like a mixture of brown and green. I don't want anything too 3D, because this board, I won't be able to store this up against a wall or whatever on a shelf. I don't want, trees and things on it. It's really just supposed to be some track I can run, I can get down, and I can use it to test locos that I'm repairing, like this one for instance. Actually, this one's a good runner. What's wrong with this is that the clips are broken, and I need to find a way to get the body to stay on. But otherwise, these J83s, particularly the Chinese made ones, are fantastic runners. I've got a couple of these. I've got one I converted to DCC, which is Chinese made one, and there's the Hornby made one in Britain, which is also a good runner, and then the older one from the 70s where you can see the motor inside the cab. I haven't got one of those, don't know what they're like, but this locomotive was originally intended to replace the Ginty when the tooling ran out in the 70s, wore out, sorry. So they brought this out, but then they brought the Jinty back out again with a new tooling a couple of years later. So yeah, so this is just really. What I'll do is I'll show you a bit closer the track plan. Nothing is. I mean, this is just all loose at the moment. I've glued this down, and I'm going to have to seal it because I don't want bits coming off it. But yeah, it is easier to use than actually ballasting it with loose ballast. It won't look as good, but it doesn't matter for this track. I was going to just stick it on the board with nothing, and then I thought, well, I've got this roll of ballast, I might as well use it. I've used it for N-gauge stuff, but you don't need very much for that, so I thought, well, might as well use it. So there we are. So I'll change the camera angle and show you the track plan. Right, so you can see I've just got 2 Y points, and these are the smallest Pico Streamline Unifrog Y points. So the plan is to have, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, because this is going to be quite simple, I don't want to spend a load of money. I've got a load of surface mounted point motors for these, so I'm going to, as you can see, it's just placed on there. I'm going to have surface mount point motors here and here, and I'm going to use DP-DT switches, and to switch the point I'll have a push button, and on the other half of the switch I'm going to use that to switch the frog. So you position it, you press the button, and it will change the point and it will switch the frog at the same time. So that's the idea, and I've got, these are all parts that I've already got. So look at the terrible lighting in here. Just try and move that, but these cheap ring lights, the sort of angle poisey parts are made of like the cheapest metal, and it's probably softer than well, something softer than things that you can eat probably, and it just kind of keeps moving. There's not a lot I can do about it because the adjustment doesn't work, because the metal itself is just, like it's made of I don't know, elastic or something. Anyway, so like I say, this end going that way, I'm going to have another board extending, which is probably just going to be 2 tracks. I might put some things on there. It's effectively the fiddle yard. I don't know, I might change my mind. We'll see how we go. I just need to glue in a bit more ballast that end, and then we'll see. I haven't decided how I'm going to wire it up yet. I might put some switching in so I can have a double controller, because I've got one, or I might just have it all on one controller. But I think the whole point of this is flexibility, and I might want to be able to control it with DCC as well, just try things out. So this really is just all about primarily these points and wiring them up to see what they're like. But then after that, it gives me something I can just plonk on my desk when I'm repairing non-runners, and I can put them on there and try them out back and forth and see if they go through curves and points and so on. So that's the whole idea with this particular layout. And like I say, because I cut the board in half, I've got another one of these. I'm going to have a fiddle yard effectively that way, which will just we'll extend it down the desk that way. There's a lot of stuff on there at the moment, but that will actually fit. So I think it'll be fun. So I want to get this one built and then get back to my if I just quickly flip up, you can see there's a N-gauge micro layout there that I'm working on. It's going to be quite a grimy, warehousey type thing. That German loco is just a static thing that I picked up. It's just in there for, it's not going to be part of it. And then you can see my my shelf layout sidings there. I haven't used that for a little while. that goes all the way back up there. So I'm gonna, you know, that one's a work in progress, and I'm working out whether I want to put replace all the points with live frog ones like these. So I might do that, I don't know yet, but in some ways, because it's DCC, it might be cheaper to simply fit keeper lives to the locos I'm interested in running, and you know, that seems to solve a lot of problems over points. But what I want really with this one is to really have a look and see what powered points, how well they perform really, particularly because the little locomotives for shunters and things, you can get keeper lives in them, but there's not a lot of space for that, and it would be nice to try these points. So these are the kind of the pinnacle of point design at the moment. With they've got all the isolation. You don't need apparently you don't need the insulating rail joiner either, because it's properly insulated from that, and the frog is fully insulated, and it either is just like an Unifrog, or you can power it and you can switch it. And I'm gonna, as I say, I'm gonna switch mine. I'm gonna switch so it will switch on that, and then the other half of the switch is going to power that. You will have to press the one-shot button to actually do it, but I think that's a small price to pay. You can buy point motors that have an auxiliary switch on them, which you can mount underneath the board. But I think for this experiment, I don't want to spend any more money. I've got boxes of stuff, so I'm going to use, this is all stuff that I already own. I just bought these 2 points. Everything else I've already got, so I don't want to spend any more money on this. I'm just going to use things that I've got. So yeah, I think that'll work nicely. I don't mind point motors on the, you know, their surface mount. For this, it's not going to be a scenic layout. It doesn't matter to me, so I think that'll be all right. So be interesting to see how this works out. So there you go. That's episode 2 of this rather rambly series on this shunting thing. And the space here, I thought could be some of the electronics. So the switches, some sort of display with the points to show, you know, which way they switch, that kind of thing. So I'm going to have a play with electronics. So I think I'll get a box here and screw that down. I'll have the electronics in there, and it's going to be kind of a fun test track. And as I say, it will extend that way as well. So yeah, we'll see how we go.